Okay, and I'll just keep letting everybody in as we are joined, but just to kick things off, good evening, everybody. For anybody I have not had the chance to meet, my name is Ruben Mercado. I'm a program manager here at SHIP, working on career and leadership development initiatives. And tonight we're excited by a group of panelists to share their expertise in the growing field of AI and engineering. And so I would like to introduce our moderator for this evening, who's going to be taking the show, Gilda Alvarez. Gilda is a cloud and data architect with over 2 decades of enterprise experience, specializing in cloud migrations, database platforms, and modern data structures. Gilda is also a community leader and mentor focused on helping students and professionals build sustainable careers in cloud, data, and AI. Gilda, thank you so much for joining us and for lending your expertise to this group. And I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I am gonna start with a little story of what is that we're doing here. So as you can see in this presentation, it's the flow of data going from one end to the other. And that is the importance of data and AI. So we're gonna have the different roles here, and they're gonna have their time to introduce themselves and teach you and let you know what they do and how they do in their roles. When people talk about AI careers, they often make it sound like a race where everyone else started years before you, a race where you need to be perfect, have a degree, internships, resume, or you're lost. But here's the truth. Most students don't hear careers in AI data. They'll start with brilliance. They start with confusion. Every single person you see in this panel started by not knowing enough, by Googling things they didn't understand, by breaking systems, by falling behind, right? The difference wasn't talent. The difference was that someone showed them where to aim. Think of it like climbing a mountain. If you stand at the bottom and look at the peak, it feels impossible. You can't set the path. You can't tell which trail matters. And if you start climbing randomly, you get tired fast. Mentorship doesn't carry you up to the mountain, but it shows you the trail. Tonight isn't about becoming an AI expert. It's about understanding which skills actually matter, which ones are hype, and one step forward looks like from where you are standing. This panel isn't here to impress you. We're here to give you clarity, because clarity is what turns curiosity into confidence. And with that said, I want to introduce you a group of professionals who didn't start as data and AI experts. They started as learners. Each one of them took a different path, faced different obstacles, and built real careers across cloud, data, and AI. We're going to begin this journey with what you as a student or as a professional pivoting into AI will be experiencing first, because believe it or not, careers in data and AI unfortunately is based on what access you have when you begin that career. One of the persons that we were going to interview is Evelyn. And Evelyn is going to talk a little bit about what data analytic has been for her, her journey. And we'll begin with her introducing herself. Hi, Evelyn.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. So like Gilda said, my name is Evelyn. I definitely didn't start in the data path or anything like that. It was something that I stumbled upon almost 10 years ago. And really, it was just my curiosity and my interest that led me into this. And from there, I just dove off the deep end. I am currently a senior analyst at Disney. I work with consumer data that's related to intellectual property. And so, what that means is really diving into what consumers are interested in and really getting insights from that that's going to help solve business problems, help with the business strategy. I have been at Disney going on, this is actually my 15th year. I have worked in several data areas such as revenue management, HR, and now I'm in marketing. And it's been so exciting to learn so many different things and be in the world of data that's constantly evolving.
So great, Evelyn. So tell me a little bit about what technical skills matter the most early as an analyst.
I would say SQL. You're always going to see SQL, even in roles that I have moved away from it a little bit. Even in like my current role that I wasn't using it, I'm now coming back to it. So SQL is that bread and butter that you're always going to go to. Excel. I'm always in Excel, even when I am using Snowflake. I'm still downloading some CSV files. Because I work with non-technical audiences, and so those are the tools that they're using. So those are the main ones. And whenever I get a chance, I try to do as much as I can to automate things in my role. And so I use Python for those things.
So really quick, what is, you would say, a future-proof skill that will allow you to evolve with the new AI wave in as a data analyst? What is skills do you recommend?
Yeah, that's a really great question because we're all thinking it, right? It's like the Wild West right now as far as what is this new world that we're diving into. But I think networking and being genuinely curious about what everyone's role is, right? And looking away from just the title, digging deeper into like what is your day to day, what are the things that you're doing, and the skills that it takes to do those jobs. Because something that a lot of people don't realize is as an analyst, I actually present a lot. I have 2 presentations for work next week, and I am presenting to audiences on a global scale. And so that really changes how I'm communicating my data.
Telling a story,
Yes.
right? So those are
Mhm.
very important skills. Great. So we're going to switch to Naisha, who's a data engineer. So let me give you an idea. When we're looking at this picture here, right? The data engineers are the ones, the plumbers. They're building the pipes. They're putting the pipes for the data to flow from one. Evelyn is kind of like the one that shows all the visuals, pretty looking story of that. And then Naisha comes with all the gloves and going into building the pipes. And so introduce yourself, Naisha, to the community, please.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here. My name is Neisha Pagan, and I am the manager of reporting and analytics for Stayterra Vacation, which is a company that specializes in vacation rentals and properties. I have around 13 years of experience in the in the data space because I have run multiple bases. I started working as a database administrator. I started working with Oracle and then I switched to SQL. Then I work as a data analyst, data engineer, data architect, and now I have the privilege and the opportunity to manage a group and build things from scratch to a company that handles a lot of properties and vacations and so on. Previously, I had the opportunity to work on a global company. It's one of the big four, and I was working as a data engineer, and I had to ingest a lot of sources from multiple countries, multiple sources of data, different data, which are not only tables or spreadsheets. So it was a lot of fun and I learned a lot. So this is a journey.
So what skills do you feel were very important to climb into that area of this mountain?
So I think the first thing that I will recommend is to get familiar with the foundations because the foundation is the pillar of everything. It's the pillar of the analytics, dashboards, AI, machine learning, all the new stuff.
So would you say what skill set do you
Well, I will
recommend?
recommend starting with if you talk about tools, I will recommend learn about more about SQL, transact query language. That's one of the fundamental tools, and I also will recommend to learn about more about Python. It is very interesting and very manageable.
Thank you so much. Why does AI fail without a strong data engineering?
So AI, let's think about the analogy that you mentioned. It's the top of the iceberg, right? And the data engineering is the foundational part. Is the data engineering itself, it's when you start taking data from multiple sources, and this data can be raw and messy. And the process to have a very reliable AI outcome, you need to clean it and make it reliable and accessible. So if the data is incomplete or biased, you will get AI wrong results in the AI. So data engineering needs to be strong to so the AI can really come together. So, and
Thank you so much.
I have a question. I have an example that I would like to share.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. In 2021, Zillow used AI to predict home prices. And the problem wasn't AI itself, but that their data pipelines didn't keep up with the market changes. And therefore, the AI learned predict incorrect patterns, and Zillow lost hundreds of millions of dollars. But in contrast, if you look at Amazon succeed because they have a very strong data engineering processes that prevents those kinds of mistakes. So if you feed the AI models with wrong data, you will get wrong results. So the engineering is a very fundamental part of it.
Got it. So we're gonna ask Lucrecia. I can't see her face. Lucrecia, can you show? Is she there? Lucrecia, are you there?
Yeah, she's on mute. Oh, she's
Okay.
unmuted.
Hi, Lucrecia. So
Eh,
Lucrecia
can you
is an
see?
architect, and she's gonna introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucrecia. I specialize in technical project program management, change management, transformation programs. And as someone that has been in technology for a couple of decades, I have seen a lot of technology changes and transformations, but not at the level that we are seeing right now with AI. So I'm in a mission of add that clarity that Gilda was talking about. And I have come to where I'm right now as a senior solution architect. I start as a COBOL programmer. From there, I evolved to to being an analyst. Then I was leading a group of programmers and analysts. Then I switched a little bit more into the business. I went to do my MBA, and then I decided that I like the business side, but I'm so passionate about the technology. So I went back to school to do a master in big data and analytics. And from there, the last 5 years, I was working as a solution architect, and now I'm consultant. In the journey that you see of all of us, we have come from different pathways, but what I really recommend is that you take a look of the current roles, and that is going to help you to start deciding which way you want to go, because roles are really different and you need a lot of different skills. For the solution architect, you need to be aware of the whole thing from beginning to end, because and also as a project program manager, you need to be able to work hand in hand with solution architect, but the project manager is the one that is going to have the wisdom to start pulling together the group to form the solution. Also, the business analysis role, I think, is key, because it's the one that is going to bring the clarity of what is that we are trying to accomplish, how are we going to solve a solution. And one company can be doing a solution in one way, and then the same problem, another company is using a different vendor, a different methodology. So it's a lot of details, but it's really important to know the whole landscape. The companies, some are still in on premise, and that's going to be a different skill than if it's a company that is cloud-based, for example. And then the different layers or the programming, it can go all the way from being a programmer still in languages. And then is the low code, no code approach. So you will need to, and if you see a programmer that is programming COBOL, for example, or Java, is different set of skills than someone that is doing low code, no code. So that's the type of different approaches that you need to know your destination. That way you can plan. One thing that I really recommend is if you start looking at the job descriptions and start looking what are the skills that employers are looking by industry. Even for the analyst, one company can be using Power BI, but then another one is using Tableau. One is using Oracle, the other one is using SQL. So you need to be aware that you will need different skill sets depending where are you going.
Lucrecia, as a mentor, I know you do a lot of community help, especially in the area of Power BI. For students that are trying to go into data analytics, what do you recommend as a shortcut that they can get experience right away? So when they graduate, they have an opportunity to find a job.
So the is a whole set of is a landscape for learning. What I really recommend is if you go to learn.microsoft.com and start looking for Power BI learning tracks, and also the one that is called the PL 300. That's the certification path. These two paths are going to give you all the information that you need for Power BI. And then what I recommend is if you go to the Kaggle, Kaggle website, they have thousands of data sets. So depending on the industry that you are thinking of going, pick data sets and start practicing. Once that you feel more comfortable, Microsoft also has a training that is called Analyst in a Day. Is a full day of training. They are going to give you all the access to labs, the material, and that is going to be a great portfolio. Create your portfolio with everything that you are doing. I think that for analysts is key to have also the sequel that Gilda, Nesha, and Evelyn have been saying. I think that will be the next step. Uh, Also, try to get internships. I know that the market is a little different right now, but you can do what is called the virtual internships and micro internships. Google micro internships, and it's a lot of companies that they are not going to pay you, but you get like a badge that you were able to do this type of internships. If you want to connect in LinkedIn with me, I will be happy to share with you where you can get this type of experiences. But it's practice, practice, practice. I think that will be. Also try to network, talk to professionals like us that are already doing the job, and that way you can get that clarity of what are the skills, and don't think that is one size fit all. Go by what your heart is telling you, and learn, have fun. Is another I don't know where you are at, and check with your school, but it's an exam that is called CLEP, and it's for information systems. Sometimes you have a track that you need uh, to follow by your school, and you will not have the flexibility to pick like networks, the SQL, or this particular class. You can do the class with it's called Modern States. You can take that class for free. It comes with a book. The book is 900 pages, and it's going to give you an overview of all the technologies that you can imagine. And from there, if you go, you take the test, you can take that test for free, and then in a testing center, and then you can send that into your university, and is 3 college credits. That will give you an overview of everything, and I strongly recommend, because if you want to go the route of solution architecture, you need to have awareness of all the technologies.
So just to give you an idea to the audience, solutions architects are where you meet technology, you meet processes, you meet people. So it's so important, and it's usually something that you grow into it because you were technical, you were business analyst, you were data analyst, you have touched every part of that organization. So they make you a solution architect for any solutions that flow through this whole thing. So whenever you see solution architect, somebody that had enough information to build a solution from beginning to end, data going in from here, ending on the other end. The next speaker is Carlos Serrano. He is an AI engineer, and he's going to answer some questions in regards to AI. And first of all, he's going to introduce himself. He's signing from Puerto Rico. I'm so jealous. Hey,
Hey
Carlos.
guys, um, I am currently a AI engineer. My background way back was in data. I started as I actually studied computer science, then on my bachelor's, and then did applied artificial intelligence engineering in Stevens Institute of Technology. um, a lot of um, a lot of the things that I actually waited from my bachelor's to my master's quite a while, and that helped me get a grasp of, like, other speakers have mentioned, like the path I need to go forward. I started in database administration. Even though I studied as a programmer, which was kind of a little bit of a bummer, I started more in infrastructure, and I started seeing the differences. I started experiencing all the different techniques and processes that the data goes through. And a little bit at a time, I actually started incorporating more of my programming studies and talents into it. By that time, I became what it's known on the industry as a full stack developer, or a developer that actually has knowledge of, like, the full stack, going from infrastructure to software design, back end design, and all the things that come with it. Um, and that's when I started getting more and more interested to with machine learning, which is like the and antecessor to AI itself, or models, or anything that comes afterward. I worked in big companies, international companies. Currently, I'm working with Database Factor as a data and AI division director. I still do a lot of engineer work. I have a small team that works with me in different regards, and it's been a very hectic ride, and I have had to learn a lot along the way. um, the universities and the studies help you a lot, and even certifications and different small classes or courses are going to help. But the bulk, I would say, like, if I had to give you guys one advice, would be, um, always make sure to have a home lab or a laboratory, and just experiment to your heart's content, because that experimentation, that learning through experimentation, really gives you an idea of the things you're capable of, and all the things that you're going to be actually eventually incorporating into your work as an AI engineer. So,
But let me ask you a question. What does an AI engineer actually do versus what some of the students think that AI do?
okay, so there's people that don't have, like, let's say, the background on that particularly, would think like, it's like, well, type in a lot of prompts, and a lot of people think of like prompt engineering and making sure that the chatbots work correctly, or like the tuning a lot of the models. And in reality, and to give you an example, this past year I've done a lot of like data pipelines, because um, data AI engineers have gone through a lot of the other types of professionals that we've talked in this presentation. So I've done a lot of like data pipeline, RAG systems, where you have to make sure that the data is being chunked and stored correctly in vector databases. I've done a lot of the agent frameworks. I work with Crew AI. I've worked with ANN. There's different SDK packages across the board, and I've done a lot of evaluations, so making sure like the agents or the AI models are working correctly. I've worked with infrastructure, so Docker, making sure that the containers are working correctly, like the architecture of the system is working correctly. As an AI engineer, um, you're more in charge of like making sure all the pieces work together. So you'll work with workflows, you'll work with business logic, you'll work with the data, you'll work with a lot of times I work hand in hand with machine learning engineers, which are the ones that actually do a lot of the training. But I need to know what they do. I need to know how it works to make sure that I can fit it into the overall solution, AI solution. So it's very similar to full stack engineering. That's why for me it was like a logical choice to come into AI engineering, because I was already um, aware of like the different levels and all the different skill sets that I needed to have to actually do this. So AI engineering is more of a after the long path technical after the long technical path that you go through your working career, then you get to that point. You a
So
lot
we
of
talked
people.
about
Mhm.
SQL, right? We talked about Python. We talked about data engineering, data pipelines. So that's kind of like the skills that need to be mastered to get to the AI. What other skills on top of that do you build on?
Well, there's a lot of you need to have a lot of like the programming basis. So you need to be good with versioning. For example, working with Git,
Yeah.
working with the databases, not only in the basic SQL, but also making sure that that you're like the connectivity, networking. There's a lot. It's good to know Python, and you will use it across the board. That's like one of the essentials. But also JavaScript, for example. Um, and just working, I would say one of the things I work with the most, and one of the things that as a skill you need to have, is working with containers, like being flexible enough to work with server applications that are containerized
Right.
is something that you come across the board building these AI systems, because they need to be flexible enough. Usually, legacy applications or applications that are just simple programming logic usually can have a more rigid structure. But AI applications need to be able to scale on the fly depending on different aspects. So the container technology is usually the one that you deal with the most.
Got it. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna kind of encompass from end to end the place where we put all this, right? So I am a cloud architect, and my job is to migrate people from on-prem to the cloud. Solutions for AI can be done on-prem, it can be done in the cloud, but I prefer to do it in the cloud because it's a lot, easier. When he talks about containerization, it's a new technology where we can containerize everything. The technology has changed, and this is the latest and greatest way of containerize everything and put it in a platform, right? So what it's what the cloud is basically, it's another computer somewhere else, right? So you usually will have servers in a data center. That's where you put all of these solutions. But the cloud is multiple data centers across the world. And either AWS, Azure, Google, all these providers will, will have learning paths to take you from a student level to a career in cloud, right? We're going to be working in at the end of this session, and Ruben will talk about this SHEP initiative to begin this journey to AI ML. But before we get to that AI ML, guess what? We're going to take you to all the fundamentals of all these people that are here. All these careers that we've seen here is what builds you to get to that ML AI. And so basically what I do is I architect the home. I put in where the bathrooms are, the toilets, everything on this house, so that the water that these wonderful people flows through, and we can drink amazing water. Okay. As a cloud architect, I've been solutioning anything from databases, from Fabric, from anything that has to do with data solutions. That's what I've been doing for the company that I work for, Ultimately, for Microsoft. I also am an AWS certified. And what I wanted to bring to you is this flow of data so that you understand the beginning to the end. So nobody comes to you and said, you're going to be an AI engineer in 6 months. Impossible. Okay. Don't sign up. It's a waste of money. This process of becoming an AI engineer takes at least 2 to 3 years of heavy study. Okay. So what we can do is we can show you the path. We can tell you the mountain is there. This is the next step you're going to take, and the next step you're going to take. And little by little, you're going to get there. So do not get discouraged. We just want to make sure you understand how deep, how high, where you're going to potentially, because you don't have to go all the way to AI engineer. You can be a data engineer for the rest of your life, or you can be a solution architect, or you can do many cloud. You can be a cloud architect like me. But there are many roles in technology. So we want to make sure you understand the different paths. And now we're going to open up for questions. Ruben?
Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, if anybody would like to hop on mic to ask a question, you are welcome to do so. I also have the chat open, so if somebody puts something in there, I can read it out loud as well. But yeah, whatever any of our participants are comfortable with, we got a good turnout tonight. So don't be shy. This is your time to ask some questions and get more information from our experts that are sharing their time with us this evening. I do see one hand raised. Abraham, I believe Abraham has his hand raised.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you everyone who's on the panel and for sharing all your information. I had a question I was going to type out, but I'm glad that I can actually just say it to everyone. Really asking about courses and certifications. I appreciate the timeline that you guys laid out. You know, that's like an ongoing process. It's kind of like a 2 to 3 year kind of thing until you can call yourself, you know, like you're actually working with AI and stuff. But I've had a hard time kind of really figuring out which course or which cert to take because, you know, if you're applying for Microsoft, an Azure cert makes sense. But if you're applying for AWS, then an AWS cert makes sense. So, I mean, if you're applying to all of them, it gets really expensive after a while. Some of these are like $100 or $200-300, depends on the course. So, and you know, how do you justify which one to take, which route to start at? Because even the beginner ones, some of them are pretty boilerplate. If you've taken some AI courses, if you have some experience on your own from like free resources, because there's tons of those. So, what is really the most marketable thing in terms of certifications and coursework that, you know, obviously will cost something that would actually, you know, take you a further way than, you know, one's coursework or even professional experience? That's really my question.
Lucrecia, you're mute.
Perfect. I can answer that question. The I put in the chat the Learn Microsoft. That's a great place for you to start. All the training that you see there is free. So you can get prepared to do the, I think is 55 exams for free. And then if you follow the Microsoft resources, 2-3 times a year, they give you free exams. If you complete a challenge, if you attend certain event, just stay in the loop. So it's a good chance that you can do, I will say 3-4 exams for free. And some you get to pick. The others are 99, 120. Check with your university because some universities, they get free vouchers. Check also with your teachers. And it's a lot of opportunities to get free vouchers. So don't get don't get worried that you will need to pay a lot because a lot is available for free. And even if you don't sit to the exam, is some tracks that you can do the exams and you can prove your skills and you will get badges to share on LinkedIn. And all of that is for free.
Yeah, and I wanted to add that there's a lot of communities too that you can follow, and they will receive vouchers and promotions for like, hey, 5 people can apply, and you might get accepted, and you can take the certification for free. So that's another option as well. So it's important that you start networking and really just diving as deep into the industry as you can to really learn about what opportunities are available.
What I would recommend, people think that we can choose a path, and the reality is that the path chooses you, right? So you begin working or volunteering for an organization that has AWS as their platform, right? So you, just like Microsoft, AWS, Google's, which are the big players in the cloud, provide this free training. And then I would, based on the platform that I'm touching right now, I would jump in and begin my learning. From the moment you start there, 6 months, what are my goals? These are the courses that I'm going to complete. You're growing. The opportunity at that same level to jump into a data analytics or it will be because you understand now the business part, and now you understand the technology, and then you become to learn the process, and you begin this mountain. I am not choosing one provider over the other because unfortunately I can't bring everybody to AWS, I can't bring everybody to Microsoft, I can't bring everybody to Google. What I can say is if you're there, begin from there and learn everything you need to know. If you happen to switch to another platform, begin from there. The fundamentals, the AI fundamentals, the data fundamentals, the cloud fundamentals, those are your 3 things you need to, so if you're going to learn something from the here, you're going to get out of here. I want you to go out there in the next 6 months. And if you come back to me, I will mentor you. You're going to learn data fundamentals. You're going to learn cloud fundamentals, and you're going to learn AI fundamentals. All those 3, if you promise me you're going to do all those 3, come back to me, okay? Because I know you want to learn from that aspect. It won't take you that long. In 6 months, you'll be done and certified. So yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, and I want to add something. Gilda was mentioning at least 3 years, but that's to get up to speed. But the learning never stops. That's a fact. Usually in the industry, we see like doctors are the ones that are nonstop learning, but I don't hear that much that people are mentioning that technology people need to learn, but it's a fact. You need to be in peace that you are going to be learning for the rest of your life, and technology is changing, changing, changing. You will need to be an eternal student.
And learn to adapt.
Yeah.
People that don't know how to adapt are not going to do very well here, okay? So keep that in mind if you want to choose the AI engineering role, right? Because it's a long mountain, it's a lot of learning, and it never stops. But then again, they make 400K. So there you go.
And to add on to that, even in my role now, from where I started to now, there have been so many changes within my role from improvements that we were doing. And so whenever we do start hiring again, we're going to look at another skill set that wasn't something that I was originally doing, right? And so it's like the learning really doesn't stop. You're figuring out different things all the time. So you just have to get used to it because you always feel like, oh, I don't know enough. But it's like, no, you do know, but there's always growing that's going to happen.
I just need to print something out real quick. I'll give it back.
Yeah, I'm restarting it.
I have a question. This is Magali. If you can hear me, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's similar to the question that the other gentleman posed regarding what courses to take. So in my specific role, I provide coaching, I provide guidance and coordination across BUs. I already work in information technology, and I actually provide the support to the business units of our organization, and I also work and provide guidance to our agile coaches. We have a self-development program within our organization where we are required to take 30 hours a year for self-development. And one of the components is AI. And one of the dilemmas that I'm having is they pay for us to take all these courses to self-develop ourselves. But right now they're looking at it from a lens to see which course actually adds value versus just taking any specific. You guys? Oh, no, there you go. So I'm trying to find out from a high level what would be of value of a course to take versus just like Microsoft Azure DevOps or something with artificial intelligence. A lot of the stuff that I'm working on is on automation with Azure DevOps. Like how do we eliminate, we use a platform called ServiceNow, like timesheets. So I'm working a lot with engineers on the back end using Power BI to automate reports. So I'm
Lucrecia is the queen of Power BI, okay? So here's the two things. Before Lucrecia answers this question, because she would be the person to go. I want people to understand the two areas, okay?
Mhm.
AI is a tool to provide productivity to every individual in the world. So that's why we have co-pilots, we have agents, we have all these technology that help you be productive on your lane. The lane that I'm teaching you here is the AI engineering, which are this data science that build solutions that help build the pipelines, DevOps. It has nothing to do with your individual. As an individual today, regardless of AI engineering degrees, you need to learn how to use AI for your job. You need to learn how to use Copilot. You need to learn how to build agents. You need to do, those are user type things for AI. What we're discussing here is more like of an engineering, if you want to climb that mountain of engineering. What you need is help with what Lucrecia does, which is Copilot and Power BI, and she can answer that question.
Yes, I can answer that question. So for everyone, and I'm going to be answering right now, Magali. For what Gilda is mentioning on the slide that we see in the screen, you can Google AI roles Gartner. I'm going to look for the link to put it in the chat. That's like everything that is under the hood and everything that we have been talking here. What is the architecture and the roles of AI? But then through your question, it's like a middle role right there that is in the governance of AI.
Yes.
I see that one, and it's a couple of courses in link in Microsoft, and I can look it up for you, or if you Google, but it's called the governance.
Okay.
And then is a lot of AI prompting that goes from very basic to more complex, and then like creating agents. But that will be in the other side of not what is under the hood, but what is like the business user. of everything that we are talking right here. But the best place that I think for what you are describing is going to be the governance and business user prompting. And I don't think that even that they are paying, that you need to go the pay route, because it's tons of training that you can take, and it's free. All of that is free.
To be honest with you, all of you guys, we've never paid for training, right? All we've done is for free. We're part of communities that teach for free. We mentor free. Everything we do it for free. And if it's not free, we find out where it is for free. The only thing that you have to pay is for your certifications, which is what, $50, $90, things like that. And this is why it's important to use companies like, or nonprofits organizations like SHEP, like Alphas, like Latinas in Tech, because they are the ones who connect with these organizations and help grow the talent with these initiatives that give you free trainings.
Thank you.
So
any other questions for our AI engineer? I thought they were going to bombard him with questions. Like, I'm going to leave him for the end so that he has energy.
Yeah, we're so thorough in the panel. They're getting what they need. It's perfect. Yeah, thank you, Magali, for the question. Thank you, Gilda, for the plug that you mentioned also. Yeah, we're all learning together. So SHIP has been eager and proactive in sharing different opportunities, some of which we'll share out, and I'll be following up with everybody who attended tonight with some different opportunities. But yeah, we've still got some time, so more questions. Feel free to hop on. Feel free to put something in the chat. Myself and my colleague Susan from SHIP here as well. We're kind of keeping an eye on things. Yeah, we'd love to hear from anybody else who has questions for our panelists.
Any questions about cloud? I'm here. Like, we have every single person that you will ever need to have questions about mentoring. Okay, so I have put in my LinkedIn as well. For Engineer Carlos, I'm in a loud room. What are the risks when using cloud, chat, or any other AI tools? I think he's talking about privacy security.
Yeah, security is a very hot topic in the AI space, particularly because of like the different is actually a frontier that's been like back and forth between the SecOps and the data ops teams. So there's a lot of, I would say, try to keep up with the security guardrails that have been all the different techniques. I read a lot of open papers that come up from different labs that work on this across the board. But I would say isolation talking about AI in particular, data isolation is very important, and model isolation. Those are like the risk factors, because you don't want to have models or AI systems that actually have cross-contamination of data. For example, let's say you're trying to build a system for a bank that gives I don't know, saving recommendations or something of the sorts. You want that particular system to have access to the data for the account that is actually being worked on at the moment, and not have it give you information from another account, which would be across all different types of risk profiles. So I would say isolation is a very hot topic in AI security, and one of the ones that you have to keep more of an eye on.
And another topic, and if you see, we are talking from different roles, from different perspectives. So another that is related is that different industries are going to have different security standards and best practices. Like if you go to something that is health, it's going to be the HIPAA, or if you go to the bank, the PCI, So it's all these standards that are going to also regulate how you spin off your different solutions. Like if you need to have your data encrypted in when it's in the system, or when it's in trusting at rest or in transit. So it is a lot of what you can have or not have, what you can store, where. Like if you have customers from Europe, you are not able to store certain things. So it's another layer that will be in the business analysis solution architecture of other different considerations that you will need to have. So that's another area for
One
you
of the things
to
that you're
get
going
more
to be able to
familiar.
do with AI is to put in an Excel or something like that and have them do anything you want. Show me, do, give me, do anything. You can do so many things, but what you're not thinking is where you're putting this data. And this is what's happening a lot. A lot of people are like, yeah, I would put AI did that for me. And then it put social securities, all the emails, all of the information of the company on the internet, right? So you want to be very careful. In order to do something like that, the organization has to have like a bubble, right? So that data cannot exit your area, right? So that is where the understanding of AI fundamentals, understanding how to deal with data, how to deal with security. For the love of God, do not put customer data on ChatGPT. If you learn anything today, please, please do me that favor. There's so many bad people out there, okay? We need to be very careful, okay?
Yes, and
And
that also depending on which copilot, because we are saying we have a copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, but if you see for the copilot, I was counting yesterday, and I think that is 15 different versions. So if you have the free version, the one that you have in your phone, that's one version. You can access one that is in the web. For sure, those that are free, that is not under the 365, they are going to be using your data for training. So follow what Gilda is saying. But let's say that you have the copilot in 365 under your tenant. That one is going to have their safeguards. They are going to have that is not the model lives elsewhere, and they are not going to be processing. So it's some flexibilities depending if the data is being read from the organization. It is going to have other safeguards. So just follow what the organizations are telling you. If it's other AIs, they will have other rules, but it's really depending on your version where it's being processed.
Also, I would
yeah,
strongly recommend to reach your community, right? Your community, for example, in Orlando, Lucrecia is the lead for the global community of low code, Copilot, all these tools that are going to help students and individuals to pivot into the AI. And there's a meeting for a whole day of learning on February 20th that she has. And then in your city that you are, there should be an event like that on February 20th. So look for it and sign up. Learning, trust me, we are a community that likes to share information, and we like to make, because it's not easy, all right? So we want to make sure if we have to learn, you have to learn too. So let's all learn together, right? And thank
Let's
you
all
so
learn
much for
together.
the
I love it.
opportunity. I want to hand it back to Ruben so that he can explain what's happening next on this journey to learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much again to our wonderful panelists. So if we get a round of applause virtually for everyone, this was really informative and really helpful. We always like to put as many chances as possible to put folks that are doing the work and that know about it in front of everyone. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. Apologies for the delay. There are a lot of things open here. If I could get a thumbs up, Gilda, I see you on my screen that you see the Empowering Futures with Amazon flyer. Is that what's up? I see. Okay, great. So, as I mentioned, we are doing a couple of events and initiatives and programs through SHIP just to get our members some hands-on experience with some of the different tools and technologies. So, this is one through AWS. So, it's the Empowering Futures with Amazon. And this class, forgive me for my speech, is for generative AI, and it's intro level. So, it's for anybody who wants to learn and is kind of starting from the beginning. So, that QR code will take you there. We will also be sending an email. Everyone who attended, everyone who registered will get a follow-up with the link for this as well. So not to worry, but in case you have your phones readily available and anyone wants to scan that. And then we've also got another one through AWS that is on the AI and ML practitioner front. So on that pathway, so you're able to sign up for that. And just like Gilda was mentioning, so through SHIP and other nonprofits, we are, this is a new and growing space, and we are regularly having conversations with companies and with sponsors who are looking to develop the workforce and the future workforce and coming to us with opportunities like this. So these are, the first of many and similar type of initiatives that we'll have. So definitely encourage you to connect with us, follow us on our social media platforms, on our LinkedIn's, and just know what's coming up and what's going on in the future. A couple of you probably have also been, I see some familiar names, people that are participating in the cohort that we have for the Microsoft, the Azure track as well. So that's up on our social medias as well. I'll share those links out as well. But there's a couple of different paths and a couple different programs and initiatives for people that are looking to get some hands-on experience. So
thank you so much, Ruben. Just want to thank the Shep for everything you guys do for the community. I think it's amazing what you're doing. We in this panel, we have been built by the community to be here and be able to help the community, especially in the Latino, which is one of my goals this year, to reach out a larger community of Hispanic people.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'm really glad that we were able to do this. And thank you all again so much for taking the time out of your schedules. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.